sense of expectation and hope for something good, something unusual, something exciting, and most important for all of us, a Beaver victory. And that was the first thing that Drew Rasmussen said to me when we sat down Sunday morning for our pregame conversation in terms of what was special about the day. Certainly the perfect game and the rarity of it all hadn't quite sunk in. Maybe a couple of days later it had. But Drew, who joins us now on the Joe Beaver Show, Drew, I don't think it was any stretch in any way. We'll talk about the perfect game in a moment. But the first thing you said essentially was, hey, the big thing is we won the game. And I know for you, that was the most important thing, it seems, even in throwing a perfect game. Tell us a little bit about your perspective on that.
We talk about it. You know, it's a team concept, and winning every game in the Pac-12 is extremely important. So any chance you can get out there to help your team get a W is an opportunity you need to take.
And you said, too, to the perfect game now specifically, that a perfect game is not a function of you retiring 27 straight guys. You did that, but it was a team thing. So give us your perspective on that and how much you appreciated Dane Lund, your battery mate, and everybody else, and some offensive support, et cetera, to have a day come together like that, Drew.
Well, exactly like you said, it is a team effort. Heck, you can look in the scorebook. There were 10 strikeouts, but Dane had to work for every single one of those. He would steal the close pitch, block balls in the dirt. And that also leaves, 17 more outs to be gotten by the defense. And so, Trevor played great at short. He had a couple balls up the middle, a couple balls in the hole he had to go get. Michael Gretler made a play late there at third. Hammy was at second for me, and he was killing it there. He was just a ground ball machine. KJ at first, that play where he fell over, picked it, kept his foot on the base. Oh, that's unreal. That's just not something you expect to see. And then, for him to go out there and do that, it's incredible. Especially coming in as a catcher, he's picking up first base real quickly. And then Joey Jansen, late in the game, had the fly ball start to his right, and it tailed back to the right field line, and he had to run, spin around, and make a great catch. I mean, Kyle Novak in left ran some balls down. It was just an incredible team effort.
Well, you have really good recall, Drew, of all the different plays that your teammates made. I'm just curious, what do you recall from yourself? Did you ever tighten up? I mean, you sound real loose, like, you're just the kind of guy to go out there and throw, but did the magnitude of the moment ever get on you?
In like the ninth inning, you start to realize what's going on, and the crowd's standing up and clapping. So all I just tried to do is tell myself, "Hey, throw strike one," and then once you get to strike one, then throw strike two. Don't try and overcomplicate the situation and tighten up, like you said. You try your hardest not to do it. I mean, it's in the back of your head. But Dane did a great job. He would tell me before every inning, he'd pat himself on the chest and say, "Hey, Drew, I got you." And so that really helped me just to have that leadership behind the plate. And Coach Yeski, our pitching coach, had a great game plan going in. He knew they were an aggressive team, and so we were just hoping we could, avoid some barrels and get out of there with a W.
Now, obviously, no one's ever been through this before, but knowing yourself, how do you think you're going to be and approach things on Saturday after all of this?
You got to approach it like it's any other game. Cal Poly's a good squad. They're coming in, and first we got to get. We want 2 wins this week. Today and tomorrow. That's goal number one. And then, when this weekend comes, just got to be ready to get up there and compete again. Coach Casey talks about it all the time, wanting to compete, and being a competitor is super important to me. I mean, going out there and just trying my best to give my team the best chance to win is the number one goal. So you just got to go after it like it's another game.
Drew Rasmussen, our guest, the author of only one of 12 9-inning perfect games in the known recorded history of NCAA baseball, the first ever within conference play in the Pac-8, 10, 12, PCC, AAWU, etc. So this is a rare event to be sure. And I'm wondering now, Drew, since it happened, when I talked to you Sunday morning, it was still all kind of sinking in. Have you, and I still haven't quite assimilated it, but have you done a little bit of I mean, have you studied the scorebook? Have you watched the game pitch to pitch with your family or your team, or listened to it, or in any way, shape, or form kind of gone back and reviewed how it all came together?
Yeah, a little bit, but nothing too much. When we talked Sunday, I was definitely, I was trying to think of ways I could help the team win Sunday. Because obviously, like I've said, that's the most important thing is getting the W. And so, but yeah, a little bit. It's fun to go back and recall certain at bats, just run them through your head and play them out again. I can vividly see the play where Trevor went up the middle and threw it over to KJ, and he fell over, picked it, kept his foot on the base, and I've ran that one through my head a couple more times because it was just incredible how both of them were able to make those plays. That ball wasn't an easy ball to get to first, and then KJ being able to keep his foot on the base was amazing.
I mentioned during the broadcast early on the radio that I felt home plate umpire Travis Reininger was fair but tight, not real generous. Did that in any way help you in terms of being sharp on every pitch, knowing that if you were a little off, you weren't going to get the pitch?
Yeah, and like I said, Dane early on he was real tight, but Dane found the ability to steal some pitches off the edge, off the corner a little bit here and there. And so that definitely helps as well when you got the confidence to, throw that pitch on the black and your catcher's going to steal it for you no matter what. That 50-50 call, you're going to get. So that helps. But yeah, like you said, you got to keep focused, and you can't relax any pitch because if you throw the borderline pitch, it has a chance to be called a ball.
And you felt confident, you said, too, to bury your breaking ball if you had to, knowing that Dane was going to smother it, block it, throw to first if he needed to. And in that final out, it seemed like it was the perfect way for that thing to end. Tell us a little bit about that last sequence to finish the perfect game and how you trusted Dane.
Yeah, like you said, the last pitch, we went breaking ball. We had confidence. Me and Coach Yeski definitely have confidence in all our catchers to block the ball and keep it in the front. And like you said, Dane smothered it like no other, and it was incredible. I'm trying to think. I think Roberts was the hitter for him, and it didn't even seem like he had finished his swing, and Dane had blocked it, picked it up, tagged him, was already hugging me. He bounced on that thing and then, made the tag real quickly, and he was out to the mound.
That is great. Drew Rasmussen joining us here on the Joe Beaver Show. Drew, normally we would get a guy like you on as a freshman, talk about high school and becoming a Beaver, and then maybe later in the career, a couple years into it, talk about a perfect game or a no-hitter. But we're going to reverse the order here. And just fantastic that this is all happening for you this week. But I am curious. I heard somewhere that you talked about as soon as you got the call, as soon as everybody knows you want to be a Beaver from 05, 6, and 7. Tell us a little bit about that. You're wanting to be with Oregon State, coming from the state of Washington. A lot of Washington guys have come down here, and how you like playing for Coach Casey.
Well, the first thing you notice when you come down here on your visit is the family atmosphere. That's the very first thing I picked up on. And the coaches, they're willing to help you out whenever you need it. And heck, earlier this year, my car was having issues. Coach Casey helped me out, and he, sent me to an auto body shop that he goes to because he trusts the guy. And so everyone's willing to help in any way you need it. But yeah, I love playing for Coach Casey. He's an intense, fiery guy, and he makes it a fun atmosphere.
Hey, Drew, last couple of things. And on that note, John asked, did you have any? You were being recruited with the Beavers. Did they find you early in the process? And did you develop a relationship with Nate? I want to get back to the game and close in a moment on that. But John's question is something I've wanted to explore with you a little bit. With Washington State in your backyard, and of course the Huskies and Gonzaga, a good program. Tell us, kind of the recruiting push for you late. What it ended up swinging it for you when all the Northwest schools in the end were offering you. You went with the Beavers. Tell us about that process a little bit.
Yeah, I just kind of bloomed a little bit later than most. You talk to a lot of our recruits or a lot of the kids in my class, and they were committed the summer after their sophomore year and stuff. But I actually I went down to Arizona with Team Northwest and Mike Brooks for the Junior Olympics after my junior year, just a little JO's tournament. And that's where they first saw me I went down there and I touched 93, I think it was, and Coach Bailey was down there. And then a couple days later, got a phone call from him, and he wanted to set up a visit, and so came down on that, and then went to the area code tryout right after that, and then they offered me, and it was pretty much sealed after that. I just loved it after the visit, and then definitely after they offered me, this was the place I knew I wanted to be.
Well, we're really glad that you made it here. And in your fifth collegiate start, throw a perfect game. That's pretty good work. But finally, we close on kind of the aspect of the sinking in. I know you want to help your team win this afternoon against San Jose State. You were there Sunday to try to help Travis and pitch against that lineup, and that's what it's all about. But if you could maybe, I mentioned on the broadcast, I thought it was a sweet moment to see your parents come down on the field with you. Since the game's end, Drew, has your life kind of has your phone and everything blown up in terms of people reaching out to you? What has it been like for you from the moment to celebrate with your folks, and just what it's been like since late Saturday afternoon?
Yeah, like you said, my parents were able to make it to the game, which is awesome. Both my parents have been some of my biggest supporters. My dad has been there with me every step of the way to, help make adjustments and all that stuff. So for them to be there, it was awesome. It was you go over and hug my mom, and she has tears because she's so happy, and it was. At the time, I didn't really know what to think still. I was just kind of in shock of what happened. And then after the game, you go and check your phone, and you got a bunch of texts and phone calls and emails and stuff from people back home just congratulating me. It was nice to see.
And some time on the Pac-12 networks then on Sunday, and everybody's wanted a piece of you, and you've been kind enough to share time with all of us, Drew. We're really excited for you, happy for you. And know now, though, it's go beat San Jose State, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Drew, it's great to have you with us on the show. We'll see you at the ballpark later this afternoon. Congratulations on giving all of us sort of a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and we'll see you at the ballpark later today. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Drew Rasmussen, our guest, the national pitcher, one of the 7 national Pitchers, Players of the Week by Louisville Slugger, and, of course, the Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week, and perhaps the Pac-12 Pitcher of the history of the conference. Since nobody had ever, and nobody's ever thrown a perfect game within a conference game.
For one
so
day.
Make him
That's
the
right.
Pac-12 Pitcher of all time.
Absolutely.
Darren Sutton, best game I've ever seen. Who? Nolan Ryan, Don Sutton saying, no. Drew Rasmussen. That's pretty out of his own mouth. It's an incredible thing we're all still trying to let sink in. The bench warmers are coming up next. Beaver Baseball, 5 o'clock here today on 1240 Joe Radio.